They must be good teachers or have good teachers. I'm not sure. All right, so we are going to call this meeting to order at 7:04. Thank you for coming. And our first item of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our next item is the approval of minutes from the governing board meeting on April 22nd, 2025. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
Seconded.
We have Mr. King and Mr. Buster. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not seeing any, the motion carries. We'll move on to our general functions section. Our first one is staff, student, and community recognitions. Mr. Booth.
Thank you, President Pratt and members of the board. We have our annual special announcement of retirement celebration this evening. And across the district this year, we have 28 staff members who will be leaving us officially at the end of this year into retirement, who have a range of service in our school district from 7 years to over 31 years. And we were able to, we've been honoring them at their respective sites and where they work, but tonight we did a collective celebration of them before our meeting. Had a chance to say some words and just about each one of them. Many of them began their time in Vail as parents and as community members before they started. Several of them had different careers before they joined us. There are several characteristics that are common amongst all of them, the most telling being the content of their character and who they are as people and individuals, and our children and young people that whose lives they have touched are forever changed because of that high quality character that they possess. And so it is fitting to just thank them and thank them for their time and service to our community. And I think we had 13 of our 28 were across the hallway, giving them a little ceremonial plaque. So at this time, I'd like to invite them up to the front. Maybe we could all grab a quick picture. As they're coming up, I'm simply going to read in for the record who is here this evening. Mr. Willie Jordan, 7 years at Cienega. Rhonda Hamaker, 12 years at a variety of places, most recently the Vail Innovation Center. Leonore Parker, 19 years at Cienega. Ellen Samuelson, 19 years at ORE. Vicki Goff, 19 years at Acacia. Molly Koenig, 19 years at Cienega. Margaret Carrillo, 21 years, most recently at Corona Foothills. Mike Chokol, 21 years at Cienega. Stephanie Paff, 22 years at Corona Foothills. Dennis Barger, 27 years, 19 of those at Vail Academy and High School as principal. Miss Jackie Hale, 31 years in all in community programs. And Joyce Ann Harris, 22 years in a variety of places, most recently at the Vail Innovation Center. So thank you all for your time and service.
All right, we get ready. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They're not retired yet, as evidenced by the next person up for recognitions, who would be Mr. Barger.
Members of the board, I would like to recognize some members of my staff before the end of the year. First on my list is our behavior specialist, Ms. Melissa Hubley, who did her admin internship this year. And as part of that, she took on hosting our Boxer Expo, which is our big spring event open to the community, and lots of outside groups coming on campus with a theme of science and engineering. And so Ms. Hubli took that on this year. I want to recognize her for her efforts. Next, I'd like to recognize our student achievement teacher this year, Kathy King, who joined us mid-year when our SAT went on leave. Ms. King came in working part-time and taking on probably the single most demanding load of things in terms of testing, at least. Not only did we do ORF testing and COGAT testing and AZ Science and ASA testing, but we also did Aspire, ACT, and AP testing. And she's touched all of that this year in a part-time capacity and done an amazing job. So I'll recognize her for that. Also would like to recognize our PTSO. Last week was Staff Appreciation Week. They, of course, knocked it out of the park, led by Olivia Padla, Jen Scopel, and Sarah St. Cyr, those three ladies who have their children in our school and just spend a lot of time making our staff feel valued, and would like to recognize them because I value what they've brought to our campus. I'd also like to recognize our sixth grade teacher, Tanya Conley, who leads our National Junior Honor Society. We just had induction last week for next year's members, and as always, just a very well-run event. Proud parents, as you might suspect. Just good stuff for kids, and glad that we're able to have that organization on campus. And then finally, my last recognition will be for you, the Vail School District Governing Board. As a community member myself for the last 28 years, like many of you, I sent my kids to these schools. And I know that being in leadership positions, it's really easy for people to sit back and lob bombs. And our job is to be professional and try to serve the community in the best way possible and exemplify that. And I know it's not always easy, but as a community member, I thank you for your time and energy and effort as volunteers to make our community a better place. So thank you. With that, I do have a yearbook that I'd like to pass around. You guys can take a look at for this school year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barger. Well said. Next up is Mrs. Bates, followed by Mr. Campos.
Thank you, President Pratt, Superintendent Kruth, and members of the board. We recently made a leadership change in our office manager position, and upon stepping into her new role, Ms. Hannah Janes discovered that we had over $100,000 in unpaid account balances. Hannah has immediately collaborated with the office team just to understand the scope of the issue, develop a clear plan for families and communication just to kind of get people back on track. Since January, Hannah and Megan Hubbard have worked thoughtfully and incredibly respectfully with our families to resolve balances. Their efforts have made it so that we have collected over $60,000 in past due account balances. Even more impressively, our most recent parent survey showed a 29% improvement in our customer service ratings from our office team. This is just a direct reflection of Hannah's incredible leadership on the office team. Next, I'd like to recognize Christy Parks and Isaac Wacko. It has been a privilege and just an honor to partner with the both of them to grow our student worker program this year. We've been employing high school students from around the district within community programs. This year, we've welcomed 19 student workers, many of whom are experiencing their first job ever. So that brings fun and exciting learning opportunities for all of us. Christy has done an outstanding job preparing these students to work professionally and confidently. Watching their growth has been incredibly rewarding, not just in how they build relationships with the kids that they're serving, but also in their development and their workplace skills. One story specifically stands out. I'm really glad that Mr. Wacko's here tonight because he can affirm the awesomeness of this story. But we hired one of our parenting students from our Hope Haven program, which luckily the governing board supported earlier this year. And she has been working in our preschool classrooms. She is beloved. I would love to share a video of her playing with kids with you. The kids just light up when she comes into work every single day. But she's not only completed started her working experience with us in community programs, but she's completed her work now with Pantano and is graduating later in these next couple weeks. We have now hired her on as a full-time childcare support team member, and she plans to pursue the opportunities that the Vail School District offers for tuition reimbursement to start furthering her education and obtain an associate's degree in early childhood. So we are incredibly proud of her. It's just really neat to see the things that you all have supported this year really just change her life, obviously, changed my life, I think changed Mr. Walco's life, but just really to see the influence that that's now going to have on her daughter as a young mom being able to model those incredible things for her child. Next up, I'd like to recognize some community partners in Rob Davis from Living Branch Church and Bluebell Ice Cream for donating over 600 cups of ice cream for our preschool children to enjoy after their preschool promotions. And lastly, I'd like to recognize Brittany Davis. She's our Assistant Director of Community Programs. This is she's finishing out her first year as Assistant Director. Brittany has embraced this role with professionalism and grace. She is the definition of an incredible right-hand person, a strategic thinker, and a servant leader. As someone who, she's somebody who just anticipates needs well before they're even expressed. Brittany has built strong relationships with each member of our leadership team, consistently delivering both what's requested and what is needed. She's helped develop thoughtful policies that have strengthened the efficiency of our leadership team. This last week, we were doing evaluations, and one of our leaders just kind of turned with a tearful eye to Brittany and just said that she's not sure that she could do her job without Brittany's silent support and constant encouragement. Brittany just sets an example of what it looks like to be kind of a silent, steady hand in leadership, and I just could not think of a better person to be the Assistant Director of Community Programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Bates. Mr. Campos, followed by Mr. Walco.
Good evening, President Pratt, Superintendent Kruth, and members of the board. Before I get to my recognition, I want to once I'm again honor Mrs. Goff here, 19 years in our district at Acacia. Ms. Goff is a fantastic Title I teacher. She has taught me a lot about the Title I program. We're going to miss her next year at Acacia. I don't see him in the audience tonight, but I wanted to recognize Jerry Brown and his team at Transportation. Acacia gets a lot of buses that roll through each and every day. And Jerry and his team really do a good job making sure our kiddos get home safe, to school safe. And it's just a fantastic partnership with him and his team at Transportation. My last recognition of the night is going to go to our inclusion teacher, Louis Lukoski, and our speech pathologist, Brianna Ochoa. They came up with a bridge meeting night for current special education parents that we have at Acacia, and they invited new special education parents that we're going to have next year at Acacia. So it was really good because we can talk about the nuts and bolts of what our program looks like, but a parent-to-parent conversation is so much powerful to say, I just went through this. This is what it's like when you drop your kiddo off the first day of school, and how to have case managers and IEP meetings and what this world looks like. We had probably about 20, 25 families show up for that night. We didn't know what to expect. This was their brainchild. I just provided the snacks. I said, you guys take this on, I'll give you guys the snacks, but it was just fantastic. And hopefully it kind of eased the tension a little bit with some of those parents to go, okay, my kids are going to be in really safe and secure hands. So it was just a fantastic, just the thought they came up with, we supported it, and we had a great turnout. So we look forward to just continue that practice for years to come. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Campos. Mr. Walco.
President Pratt, Superintendent Kruth, members of the board, good evening. It's been busy at Pantano, and I wanted to take a few minutes and just recognize some of the good work that's going over there. First, Gene Peglow is a force of nature, and all the ACT testing just went off without a hitch. Rachel Mullins and Julie Hendricks proctoring, and incentives for our juniors participating in that, and cared for everybody, ate a nice breakfast in the morning. They had snacks. They were well rested. It was just managed amazing, and it was picture perfect. So just super appreciative of her efforts with that. I'd also like to acknowledge Ms. Katie Vera. In addition to her role as a history teacher, she's also taken on student council. She actually started it at Pantano. And with student council, they brought Pantano's first ever prom offsite. This year we were at Del Lago, and to see just the special that was created through her efforts, the efforts of the kids, that ownership that took place, and just an amazing evening. Words don't really do it justice. So she's just done an amazing job. I want to acknowledge Rachel Mullins. She's stepped up and taken over the SEP coordinator position this year, revamped the whole process, not just on the teacher side of things, but the experience of the students are much more supported. Olson Hancock, ELA teacher, is also supporting that position and in improving the written product of students and the consistency and just raising the bar with all of that. And they've done a tremendous job. I'm really proud of the work they've done. I'd like to acknowledge Julie Hendricks. She's been leading our math department, reviewing and aligning curriculum and support tools to ensure our math department continues to thrive for years to come. We just recently welcomed a new colleague, Laura Sowen, with veteran teacher Scott Hagan, and that's our math team, and they're calibrating their curriculum just so that it's aligning and the student experience is streamlined as they progress from class to class. It's really cool to see. So proud of the work they're doing. I also wanted to acknowledge Jacobo Carrasco. He's one of our science teachers. He's worked tirelessly to build a small agricultural program, ag sci program over at Pantano. And in the over the course of the school year, students have cleared a plot of land. They've learned how to do plumbing. We've installed water lines. The students did it themselves. And as of a couple weeks ago, they've planted the first orchard on Pantano. And thank you to Home Depot and Tractor Supply for donating some trees to us. So next year I'll have some fruit for you guys. Lastly, I wanted to acknowledge an individual who stepped up in a tremendous way. One of our teachers, Michelle Rosilian, was out on medical leave all year this year, and we had a long-term sub for the duration of the year. That vacancy was filled by Tim Sweet, who's been a longtime Vail employee and came to us at long-term sub and just really become part of the Pantano family, building relationships with kids and growing as part of our school. He spends his lunch and break times as playing basketball with our kids and connecting and just really doing so much. So I am eternally grateful for his efforts this year and really blessed to have him. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. We have many other district-wide recognitions. If you, I know your calendars are full with events that are happening any evening over the last 2 weeks, and certainly over the next week and a half are just jam-packed with things. But I want to highlight a few things that are going on. Andrada Polytechnic is maybe not known as our sports school, but it's our only school that has esports. And they recently participated in the esports Super Smash Brothers Ultimate Varsity Team competition. Doesn't that sound like fun? Where Rylan Allen, Aiden Weaver, and Devereaux Hicks all made the playoffs this year. Rylan was the second runner-up at the third, was also the second runner-up at the third annual PXU Esports Tournament, and he ranked third out of 72 players. Pretty darn cool. Also, Andrada has a cheer team, and they placed second in the Las Vegas Cheer Invitational. Oh, very cool. Perhaps more in the line of what Andrada is known for is their career pathways, and their emergency medical technician team participated at the HOSA event, and Autumn Lund and Kellyanne McCabe are traveling to the HOSA International Conference in June in Nashville, Tennessee, to represent the state of Arizona in that competition. There's a lot going on. Also with athletics, I'll get to that in just a second. One other non-athletic thing I want to mention is the Make-a-thon event, and those students who participated in the Make-a-thon developed solutions to UN Sustainable Development Goals. And one of the judges, who was a college professor, stated that a couple of our students were more eloquent and better presenters than his own college students were. And the top winners at that event were the top project for elementary individual went to Esmond Station. The top project elementary group also went to Desert Willow. And the middle school invitational went to Rincon Vista Middle School, and the top middle school project group went to Corona Foothills. Back to athletics, Micah Mountain High School's track and field boys team are state champions. They not only were the state champions overall, but they had a long jump champion, boys 100-meter state champion, boys 4x100. They defended their state championship, and the girls 1600 state champion, and the girls 4x800 state champions. pretty amazing. And if you, in case you weren't paying attention to any social media, Empire High School are back-to-back state champions for softball. It's their fourth championship for softball in their 20-year career. They're not quite 20, well, 18-year career. Pretty incredible. And then CHS is not to be outdone. Cienega, their Division II track team, their girls finished fourth, and they had first place. They had a first place winner in shot put, second in long jump and triple jump, and third in 800 meters, and fourth in discus. They also set 2 new school records, and those people were juniors and sophomores. And Cienega still has several teams alive in the playoffs. Their boys baseball team is playing in the semifinals on tomorrow night. Their girls softball team, I think, also plays tomorrow night, and I can't remember if it's the quarterfinals or semifinals. And their boys volleyball team is playing right now in this moment in the quarterfinals. And Mrs. Middleton assured us when they win that they will be. There might be a score update coming later in a board recognition.
2 sets to 1.
When they win, that they would be going on to the semifinals. I think they're heavy favorites to return to the championship game. So really, I was just thinking about the breadth of opportunities across our schools for kids to both connect, engage in great activities, and then be led in a way that leads to excellence. So in performance. So just really cool stuff. That's all I have for staff, student, community recognitions.
Mr. Pruitt. Our next items are call to the public and acknowledgement of public requests to speak. At this time, I do not have any requests. Are there any members of the public wishing to speak to the board tonight? Not seeing any, we're going to move on to correspondence and reports. The first item is superintendent's report. Mr. Pruitt.
Thank you, President Pratt, members of the board. I simply want to call attention to the fact that graduation activities begin in earnest on Friday with the annual baccalaureate service. It's open to everybody. That'll be held at the Vail Theater of the Arts at 7 p.m. on Friday. And then Cienega is the first high school to graduate Saturday at 7 p.m. at Keno Sports Park, followed by Pantana on Monday, Vail High School on Tuesday, Empire on Wednesday, Micah Mountain, and Andrada on Thursday, and then we get to take a breath. And mixed in amongst all of those things are preschool promotions, 5th grade promotions, 8th grade promotions, a few field days, and lots of other wonderful activities happening across our school district. So buckle up.
Thank you. Our next item is board reports. Are there any board members that wish to give a report this evening? Mr. King, you want to start us off?
Sure. So since our last board meeting, I was actually able to go over to Andrada, and I was a guest instructor in Ms. Newton's forensics class, where I presented a class on explosive forensics. So I would like to thank Ms. Newton and staff and the students of Andrada for just a great experience over there. So I was also able to judge senior exit projects and attend the Vail Early College banquet. So for Vail Early College, so getting to see this next generation of just amazing students out there. Completed evaluations for the education enrichment projects, because that's kind of one of the fun things that we do. And it does great things for our amazing teachers. So, and then took part in National Teacher Appreciation Week with Miss Darcy Mentone, Stacy Winstrig, Kendra Santucci, and visited both Cienega and Desert Sky Middle School, where we were able to recognize various teachers and staff who were randomly selected. And then some of that fun stuff got posted on social media. Friday night, I attended a rendition of The Sound of Music at the Arizona School for the Deaf and Blind. So there were a couple of Vail students who actually took part in this presentation. Shane Quirk from Empire High School and Victoria Darling from Desert Sky Middle School took the stage and performed for an almost packed house. And as I was telling Superintendent Caruth earlier, those students had some amazing voices. I was truly impressed. And it also demonstrates that our students are involved in the larger Pima County areas. And then lastly, on Saturday morning, I was conferred my master's degree in education from Liberty University. So I'd like to thank the following people from the district who helped me over the last 17 months during my program. Superintendent Caruth, Director of Finance, Ms. Michelle Quiros. Sorry, got the last name wrong. Sorry. Okay. Director of Human Resources, Ms. Katie Dabney. Director of CTE, Mr. Aaron Schmidt. Director of Transportation, Mr. Jerry Brown. Principals Kim Milton and Margaret Stewart. Director of Communication, Ms. Darcy Mentone. My fellow board member and one of the most vocal cheerleaders a person could have, Mr. Ed Buster. And I'm sure I missed some more. Whether it was through being interviews, pointed in the right direction for information, a quick chat, all of you modeled for me for my personal growth, where education is a community effort. And you actually modeled it perfectly. And I want to thank you and the entire Vail School District for being part of both my personal and professional growth. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. King. And congratulations on earning your a second master's degree, right? Congratulations. Other board reports, Mrs. Anderson?
Yeah, it's been busy, so I'm gonna try to just briefly say, so I think it's been 3 weeks since our last meeting, so it makes it worse. So at the beginning of that, I spent a lot of time at the fairgrounds, at large animal competitions and their auction. And so I just want to give a shout out to Cienaga's FFA program and agriculture program with their small stock and livestock and those students who competed. And also a shout out to all the 4-H kids within our district from elementary, middle school, and high school who also competed there. Cienaga's FFA program is the only one as a school, but a lot of our students were there competing. And then got to attend ACE Plus celebrations for Andrada and Micah Mountain. And I think what I just want to say about those two experiences is how much I loved each one. They are so different, and that's what's wonderful about our district and the choices. I loved seeing what is so great and so special about each one. And I felt it while I was on their campuses. And so it was just wonderful to celebrate them. And then it has been spring concert and performance time. Woo! And so for those who know me, the fine arts is my one of my loves. But I went to a lot of performances the last couple weeks. And between choir and drama and band and orchestra, just all of the performances that are going on. I couldn't be at all of them, but I'm just grateful for all of those teachers and those students showing the growth and what they have learned. And that leads into actually my next one, which this week and the week before were banquet season too. So now we're celebrating all of the work they've done through the year, whether it was sports banquets or club banquets or fine arts banquets. And I got to attend a range of different banquets. And again, it was celebrating growth and it was celebrating relationships, whether that was with teachers and students together. And it just was just really fun and beautiful, and loved seeing all of these kids being celebrated and celebrating together. And then I also got to take a tour of the, which I've been there before, but it was an updated tour of the bridges, the JTED programs there, specifically the veterinary science, and we have one at Andrada, which is amazing, and it was just really awesome to see what is available for students in our district. And then my last one, which is actually happening this weekend, I just want to give a shout out to 7 students at Empire and Cienega, who this weekend will be competing in the Monty Awards. It is the high school musical theater awards, and the musicals at Cienega and Empire were adjudicated by judges, and 34 students around Pima County, Southern Arizona actually, so I think that actually takes in some out of our county, and 7 of those students are from our district. So 3 from Empire and 4 from Cienega, and they also judge 4 categories for best musical, best choreography, best director, and best creative elements. And both Empire and Cienega have been nominated for all 4 of them, and they will be up for those awards as well. And so I will be attending this weekend. I'm very excited to see how it goes, but just what an honor to represent us and for these students in schools. So thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Mr. Bester?
Break out the popcorn. So first and foremost, I'm all about celebration, and it is National Police Officers Week. So I definitely want to extend a huge thanks to all our law enforcement officials that take care of not only our schools when they're in on-duty capacity, off-duty capacity. You are the vanguards of our communities, and you do it tirelessly, effortlessly, putting your life on the line, making sure that others are safe. So huge thanks to all law enforcement agents. I wanted to say to each of you incredible, smart, and compassionate educators, I sincerely hope each of you had a wonderful Teachers Appreciation Week. I don't think we thank you enough for everything that you do, and especially with 15,000 of your kids, and I mean that compassionately, your kids, you do everything to make sure that they are successful. So your guidance and your sacrifice inspires generations of students now and long into the future. So again, thank you. I sincerely hope all the caring, compassionate moms, grandmoms, aunts, matriarchs, and phenomenal mother-like and mothers had a wonderful Mother's Day and a Mexican Mother's Day. You deserve it because not one of us would be here without you. Congratulations to my friend, my brother-in-arms, and fellow board member Chris King, in celebration of him being awarded his second master's degree. We applaud your dedicated hard work and self-determination to gain this degree. He definitely sets the example for our school district for his sacrifice and commitment to attaining his personal and professional goals. Well done, sir. On Friday, May 9th, I had the privilege of attending an evening to Empowered. I kept saying Empower Ed, so it was, no, it's not for me, but it was hosted by the Metropolitan Education Committee at Pima County, or Pima Community College Aviation Center. This wonderful event coincided with Teacher Appreciation Week. I am beyond thrilled to share that Vail was recognized with multiple prestigious awards, highlighting the incredible dedication and impact of Vail educators. These honors reflect the deepest and unwavering commitment of our Vail educators toward excellence and student success. Their leadership, passion, and dedication continue to inspire and elevate our community. Vail is truly fortunate to have such exceptional educators shaping the future. Their work is the heart of our community, and I am so grateful for their contributions. So thank you, one and all, for taking care of us each and every day, and those young people that need you, that want you and desire you to be that role model to ensure their future success. On Tuesday, May 6th, I joined Superintendent Caruth along with Mary Aubane, Lindsay Wall, Cassie Butcher, and Jill Applegate at our reality check luncheon at the district office. Great conversations and discussions regarding our district, its history, and its bright future, thanks to great people who serve our district like them each and every day. That evening, I met with Nicole Witt, Aaron Cavazos, and Beth Thompson to complete the finalization of the 2025 Education Enrichment Plans. Huge thanks to these incredible professionals for making sometimes arduous process of providing a final selection more streamlined. I wish to applaud every educator that submitted a professional business proposal that made the review very interesting, informative, and inspiring. On May the 5th, I attended the Firefighters Appreciation Day ceremony at American Legion Post 109 in Corona de Tucson. The event was held as part of the national holiday supporting first responders throughout our community. As a community, we gave thanks to Fire Chief Steve Lundy and the phenomenal firefighters of Corona de Tucson Fire District. Many wonderful community-wide organizations provide gifts to our firefighters. However, the most heartfelt moment was when Miss Krista Fields, our wonderful principal of Copper Ridge Elementary School, not only spoke very kindly of the positive influence and effect the presence of our firefighters has on our students, but she also presented each firefighter with a handcrafted gift or gifts created by Copper Ridge Elementary students. Huge thanks and appreciation to Ms. Fields and all of your ring-tailed students and staff. On April 30th, I met, along with Allison, Callie, Jen, and Mr. Carney, attended the Micah Mountain High School A+ celebration. Congratulations to Principal Neemer Hassey and all the incredible students, educators, staff, and families who made this celebration possible. It's not just about celebrating the achievement, it's about recognizing the dedication, hard work, and unwavering commitment of everyone who made this monumental accomplishment possible, because it's a community effort. Go Thunderbolts. On the 29th, I had the opportunity to attend the Arizona School Board Association's Combined Alliance and Caucus meeting alongside multiple board members across Arizona. The discussions were very insightful, covering various topics relevant to our work and toward our shared goals, programs, initiatives, and interests of the cooperation collaboration in the future. I look forward to sharing further details and takeaways that may benefit our district and our board moving forward. On that same evening, I joined the board members, Chris King, Jan Anderson, and Superintendent Caruth, attending the Vail Early College Banquet. The VEC program coordinator, Rayleigh May, is one of the most passionate education professionals. She brings students together from our Vail high schools into one unified program. Her students were able to earn, on average, 27 credits prior to graduation from high school, and many achieving associate degrees. It was really an awesome event celebrating our wonderfully talented students, educators, and their supportive families. Monarchs now and forever. 28th, I, along with Callie, Jen, and Mr. Caruth, attended Andrada Polytechnic High School's A+ celebration. Super proud to celebrate another A+ school in the Vail School District. Congratulations to Principal Jeff Parks and the entire student body, educators, staff, and parents at Andrada Polytechnic High School. After all, it is a community effort. On the 25th, I joined Superintendent Caruth, along with Joanna Williams, Deborah Fitzpatrick, Stephen Gobin, and Rachel Yellen at the Reality Check Luncheon at Corona Foothills Middle School. It's really the highlight of my day to gain the opportunity to get to know our incredible teachers and staff on a one-to-one basis. So many diversified stories and backgrounds that are really amazing. These are some amazing people that passionately and purposefully come together every day to really make a million things go right for each of our students each and every day. I thank Ms. Stewart for allowing us the opportunity to take some of her incredible staff to share some valuable dialogue of what makes Corona Foothills Middle School and Vail Unified School District so special. Last but certainly not least, for those who are still sleeping, on the 24th, I was honored to join fellow veterans throughout the state of Arizona to attend Congressman Juan Ciscomani's Veteran Servant Leader Award Ceremony. During the award ceremony, Congressman Ciscomani quickly pointed out that Vail Unified School District is one of, if not the best school districts in Arizona. His inspired words drove me to present him with a Vail Unified School District challenge coin. I informed him now he's officially a member of our school district family. I could see that he was delighted and honored. With this, it is appropriate that I make a special note of thanks to Board Member Chris King, who, in the deepest honors and military traditions, created the Vail Unified School District Challenge Coin. A heartfelt thank you to everyone who continues to support our veteran community. This recognition reflects the collective strength of service we all continue to uphold. The special sauce we lovingly call the Vail Way. Thank you.
Mr. Bester? Any other board reports?
I have a very important board report.
Okay, like, I'm hoping it's a score.
But I'm gonna wait until the end.
Oh.
Don't tune out now. Just had the opportunity to attend both A+ celebrations at Entrada and at Micah Mountain, and I loved seeing the unique ways each school celebrates. It was very representative of their schools, their students, and their leaders, and I just loved the energy and the pride and the fun that was had by all. Just really well done all around. It is the end of the school year and things are bonkers for our staff. I really wanted to say thank you to everyone who's pouring in on those little extra special pieces that build memories for kiddos to take into their summer break, and just wrap around some really fun celebrations, and ways for kids to really feel great about their time in one of their classrooms, and their learning, and their relationships that they have throughout the year. So say thank you to all staff who are really pouring in extra this time of year. And thank you as a parent. Thank you as a board member. And Cienega has locked it in. They won 3 sets to 1, and they'll be playing Thursday night up in Phoenix against, I think, the number 2 ranked team in the state.
Very exciting. Thank you, Ms. Tippett. I'm just gonna keep mine really short. I just want to acknowledge and thank Nicole Witt for all of her hard work and efforts with the EEP process. I know that change is always hard for everybody, and so for teachers writing their EEPs, it could have been a little more bumpy this year. And so I just want to acknowledge that and say thank you to the teachers. I think the new hub is going to be amazing, and as a rater, there was a lot of things that made it much easier and a lot quicker as a rater. So I just want to say thank you to everybody for your patience, and then also just a huge shout out to Nicole for all of her hard work. I also stopped in really quick at Micah Mountain. They had their special ed prom, and it was just the best little event. A lot of hard work from some teachers and parents, and I just thought it was such a fun event to just see for a few minutes. I also attended Micah Mountain's A+ celebration. I had a conflict for Entrada and was sad to miss that one. It was so amazing. I don't know that I've ever seen kids so bought in to a program before. I mean, just the leadership that they were demonstrating as they were leading this program was pretty exceptional. And I just think it's so fun to see just the unique ways that our high schools are serving kids and growing culture at their schools. I also want to say thank you to our communications team for those pop-ins for Teacher Appreciation Week. I was able to go to Savannah and Acacia last week, and it was great to be able to surprise people and to be able to say thank you for their work. So if there's no other additional comments, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda, all items listed below are consent matters and will be considered by one motion at this time. There'll be no discussion of consent items. Any board member may remove an item from the consent agenda by request. All items not accepted and approved as part of the consent agenda will be considered individually. Are there any board members who wish to pull an item? Okay, Mr. Krug.
Thank you, President Pratt and members of the board. It's recommended that the Vail School District Governing Board approve all items on the consent agenda as presented.
You'll accept a motion?
I'll move.
Second.
Ms. Tippett and Ms. Anderson. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not seeing any, the motion carries. We'll move on to the next section, which is old business. The first item is Stanford Healthy Future Tier 2 curriculum. This is an action item, Mr. Krug.
Thank you, President Pratt, members of the board. 60 days ago or thereabouts, probably a little bit longer than that, at a board meeting, the board took action to put the the Tier 2 Stanford Drug and Alcohol Prevention curriculum on display. That time period has come to an end, and there were no public comments received regarding that. curriculum. Fundamentally, this is the second step in the Stanford curriculum. Previously, the board had approved the Tier 1 curriculum, which will put in prevention lessons into our health classes in high schools regarding the use of tobacco, vape devices, and cannabis. They're really, this program has come at the request of both parents and staff at our high schools in particular, and some at the middle schools, for some kind of diversion process or some kind of educational tools around the use of tobacco and more importantly, cannabis. There really isn't any cessation programs out there. And so our team has scoured and looked for the best available programs out there. And this is the one that they have landed on. So the Tier 2 materials will be used when a student has been found to be in use or possession of one of those two items. Often both of those generally require some level of suspension that come with that. And the Tier 2 intervention materials would be in conjunction with a suspension. If it's cannabis or THC as an example, that's usually a 10-day out-of-school suspension pending a long-term suspension. Oftentimes that long-term suspension is held in abeyance with certain conditions that must be met. This would be one of those conditions that would need to be met and might even be able to shorten some of that abeyance time period. It's intended as a one-time lesson session or group of sessions around that prevention materials. Parents would have to opt in for that. So that's the quick background on it as it pertains to how we will use it. With that, I'll go ahead and make the recommendation that the Vail School District Governing Board approve the adoption of the Tier 2 Stanford Drug and Alcohol Prevention Curriculum as presented.
Thank you. I'll accept the motion.
I make a motion to accept the program.
Seconded.
Comments or questions? Mrs. Tippett.
I just appreciate the work that went into first identifying the need for the program and identifying a program that works within our guidelines to meet our students' needs. So grateful for a new tool for our staff and for our students.
Thank you. Mr. Britt, did you have?
I just want to thank Mr. Kevin Carney and Ms. Heather Stow for leading a new group of people to both explore what was out there and available and then vet those materials, bring them forward.
Mr. King, did you have a comment? No. Any other comments or questions? Thank you for bringing this forward and for your comments, Mrs. Tippett. I completely agree. I think it's a wonderful resource for families. And thank you for acknowledging that also families are looking for the help with this. This is an action item. So with that, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Not seeing any, the motion carries. Thank you. Our next item is the 2025-26 Vail Early College School Calendar. This is an action item, Mr. Creek.
Thank you, President Pratt, members of the board. This is an action item this time. It was studied at the previous meeting. Quick background on this again, our Vail Early College students participate not on the Vail calendar, but on the Pima Community College calendar, and we don't receive the Pima Community College calendar until later in the spring. So when we receive that, we bring it forward for study and action so that those students have their own calendar as well. So that's what this background material is. The associated calendar is a mirror image of the Pima Community College calendar. So with that, I'll go ahead and make the recommendation that the Vail School District Governing Board approve the Vail Early College calendar as presented.
You will accept a motion?
Motion to approve as presented.
Mr. Bester? One second. Mrs. Anderson, any comments or questions? No, it was studied previously. Okay, if there's no other comments or no comments or questions, then I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not seeing any, the motion carries. Thank you. We'll move on to new business. Our first item is IFB 26-004-30. health aid supplies and equipment, also an action item. Mr. Cruz?
Thank you, President Pratt, members of the board. This item is as it describes. We purchase a number of health supplies and equipment to meet the needs of our students. The volume of those purchases got to the point where it was best for us to go out for invitation for bid process to select, in this case, multiple vendors to be able to purchase those materials from. Standard purchasing process and committee were followed in making a selection. Standard posting for the bids was done. There were 4 respondents to the bid. 2 of those respondents received high scores. Those are School Health Corporation and School Nurse Supplies, respectively. And the committee made the recommendation after going through the scoring process and receiving those bids to those high scoring groups. So happy to answer other questions. It's pretty straightforward, but I'll make the recommendation to Vail School District Governing Board award RFP 26-004-30 health supplies and equipment as multiple award to the vendors School Health Corporation and School Nurse Supplies as presented.
You all accept a motion?
I'll move.
Mrs. Tippett? And Mr. King? Comments or questions?
I have a question.
Mrs. Tippett?
Is this the first time we've gone out for RFP for Band-Aids?
For Band-Aids. I believe that is correct. Yeah, Band-Aids is one of the supplies.
Right.
But it's, yeah.
It's to me just very representative of the growth that continues to happen in our community.
I would also say it's also representative of the severity of medical needs of the students and children in our community, of the children in the community that we support. It is much more than Band-Aids. It is significant increases in the number of students with diabetes, significant increases in the number of students with significant health complications and medical needs that we support both within the scope of special education and outside the scope of special education. But we support everybody from those children in our community who are truly medically fragile to those who need help.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Not seeing any, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not seeing any, the motion carries. We'll move on to item B, the 2025-26 incentive pay packet, also an action item. Mr. Cruz?
Thank you, President Pratt, members of the board. Mrs. Penn.
Good evening, President Pratt, Mr. Cruz, and members of the board. Earlier this year, the conception of this new pay packet board for vote, and we are now bringing the rest of that, which is the leadership positions that are funded through the incentive pay packet. This packet looks very similar to the one that you have seen in previous years. There are 2 positions that are being recommended for addition to this pay packet. The first one is an Azella extended writing score. This is a position that is required. The position isn't required, but the responsibility of scoring the writing section is required by the state Department of Education. And it's when students are coming into us in those early grades and they don't have, they are not yet identified for inclusion in the EL program. It is to place them into that. The position requires some additional training from the State Department. The assessments are scored, and then the scores are required to be submitted to the Department of Education too. This is a position that has been in place for several years. We're requesting to have this moved into the incentive pay pack to just streamline the payment process, so there isn't a budgetary impact for the Azella extended writing score. The other position is a site engineering as elementary coordinator. And you may remember that we had the opportunity to purchase quite a few engineering is elementary kits when we had that money coming in from ESSER. These are science kits. They're hands-on, lots of engagement strategies, very well-organized science units, and they come in this kit format, and those are shared among multiple teachers at each site. So the idea with this particular position is that there would be someone at each site who would organize, coordinate, train teachers, replenish supplies, and make sure that all of those kits that we've put our financial resources into to provide those opportunities for students are ready to go, and that teachers have kind of all barriers taken down and making that so that they're not difficult to implement. That would have a budget impact of $8,500, and it would be funded also. I'm just reading it off of here through the M&O. So if there are any other questions, I'd be happy to answer those, but that's kind of the highlight of the two additions to the incentive pay packet, and the rest is pretty familiar to you.
Do you want to, are you going to read the recommendation?
Yep, I'll go ahead and read the recommendation. Just a moment. Yes, thank you. It's recommended that the Vail School District Governing Board approve the incentive pay program as presented.
You all accept a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Seconded.
Mr. King and Mr. Buster, comments or questions? No, this is something that comes back every year, so thank you. I know there's a few new things on there, but thank you for the presentation. If there's no other comments or questions, though, I will call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not seeing any. The motion carries. Thank you. Our next item is item C, the FY 24-25 budget revision number 1. Also an action item. Mr. Kruth.
Thank you, Mrs. Pratt. Mrs. Leonhardt. Leonhardt? You'd think I've known Miss Michelle for a long time, and I wouldn't be stumbling over her last name. However, I do believe this is the first time she's come to the podium with a new last name. So,
And to be fair, your old last name was also.
I know. I love, but
Yeah.
and it was Kiddos, obviously, and or shortened to Q, which is so.
Okay, so you say it. What is your
Lenhart.
Linhart.
Lenhart?
Lenhart.
Okay, Lenhart. Got it.
Thank you, Miss Linhart. Who are you? Nice to meet our CFO. Sorry, Michelle.
President Pratt, Mr. Kruth, members of the board, tonight, just presenting to you the budget revision number 1 for fiscal year 2024-25. This budget revision just reflects current enrollment, our ADM, as of right now, which we're seeing about a 500 weighted student growth from when we adopted it in July. We're also making some modifications because of our transportation mileage and eligible students. We've had just minor calculation updates for our override. It is based off of prior years, so when the state just goes back to recalculate all of our ADM, we had to recalculate our override amount. They also did a calculation for the Prop 123, and when they did the restate calculation, we saw an increase of about $28,000 in that area. We also, for the first time, received the free and reduced price lunch, which is the poverty weight. We received that in this budget, which is about $284,000. And then our last change was our carry forward. We projected about $11 million, and we saw about 13.7. As we discussed during our study session, we kind of know that happens just because we're still operating, even though we're adopting a budget in June and July. Prior year is still operating for a couple of months, and so once we finish and close all that out, then we'll do a final budget. And so tonight, all those changes collectively are about $5.4 million. So we're going from a $133 million adopted budget to $133,500,000 budget.
So with that, I'll go ahead and make the recommendation. The Vail School District Governing Board approve budget revision number 1 for the 24-25 fiscal year as presented.
Thank you. I'll accept a motion.
Motion to approve as presented.
Mr. Bester?
I'll second.
Mrs. Tippett, comments or questions? Mr. Bester?
Just as always, you and Ms. Dabney doing an outstanding job explaining but line by line exactly what's going on. Because across the board, we have a finite amount of funds. We want to take care of all our constituents. We want to take care of each one of our educators, each one of our passionate, compassionate staff. At the end of the day, we can only be as effective as you allow us to be, keeping us edified, keeping us on top of what's going on with the coffers is hugely impactful to allow us to make the best decision for the entire school district and the community we serve. So much appreciation to you.
Thank you. Mrs. Tippett?
I also want to point out just how fantastic the team does at dialing in our enrollment numbers, which are so key to us being able to craft a successful budget. I'm so grateful that we are adding some dollars. And so we get a little bit more wiggle room rather than a contraction at some point. That would be really difficult for our site staff to absorb. So thank you for all the work that goes in on that crystal ball.
Thank you, Mrs. Tippett. Any other comments or questions? If there's none, then I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not seeing any. The motion carries. Thank you. Our last item under new business is item D, consideration of employee salary increases for FY26. This is a study item. Mr. Kruth?
Thank you, President Pratt, members of the board. Mrs. Dabney.
Thank you, President Pratt, Mr. Caruth, members of the board. No name change for me.
Yeah,
so
I was thinking that.
So during the FY26 budget development process, the governing board has studied multiple components of the FY26 budget, including the proposed 25-26 minimum 2% salary increase. This item was studied and discussed at the study session this evening. The recommended minimum 2% salary increase is based on our projected enrollment growth of 1% in grades K through 8 and 3% in grades 9 through 12. The continued health of our budget, which we just had another example of, the feedback of funding priorities from our community that we received during our joint site council meeting last September, the projected inflationary increase in the base support level of 2%, the projected increase in the M&O override funding based on ADM growth, the projected increase in the city's minimum wage to $15.35 per hour, and information regarding pay increases for the 25-26 school year of 2 to 3% from our neighboring school districts. All of those factors go into determining what is a fiscally responsible COLA that we can offer our staff. Administration is recommending a minimum 2% salary increase for all employees in a regular position as described in the board background. If approved, the proposed pay increase will take effect on July 1st, 2025, and will include the following. All non-Proposition 301 eligible employees will receive a 2% increase on the employee's hourly wage or base salary. All Proposition 301 eligible teachers or employees will receive a minimum 2% increase, which equates to a flat dollar amount increase of $1,610 in their Prop 301 salary contribution. Returning teachers and site-based professional staff employment contracts for the 25-26 school year were issued in March. However, there is language in these contracts that provides legal authority for the board to authorize an increase in compensation. If approved, administration will issue amended contracts. Classified support staff salaries may be lawfully increased at any time. If approved, administration will prepare and issue wage notices with information on the approved pay increase to non-contracted staff. The proposed pay increases will be covered within the 25-26 annual budget, including maintenance and operations, community programs tuition, the inclusive preschool tuition, other identified grant funds that are already supporting staff positions, and Prop 301. The M&O cost of the pay increase for non-Prop 301 eligible employees is projected to be approximately $1.12 million.
And the projected impact from Prop 301 for 301 eligible teachers or employees is projected to be approximately 1.6 million. I believe that covers it. As this is a study item, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Yeah, I know we studied this for over an hour during our study session. Are there any additional questions?
Just a thank you. I asked a question during study session, and this immaculate professional went back to her office and got me the 100% answer. So I definitely appreciate you doing that in real time. You partner well.
Thank you. Any other, Mrs. Tippett?
No real questions. Just really appreciate the opportunity to study this publicly, and for staff to be aware and learn about it, and then the opportunity to bring it back and action on that. I am grateful for the availability of a 2% raise, and it's not lost on me that that's available because of legislation that was passed that required a 2% increase to the base support level so that we could be able to address help to our staff in this kind of way. And with economies contracting and all of those things, it would be very easy to go back to some of the late 2010s, early 2010s, where there were freezes and things of those sort. And so grateful for the work that went in many years ago to make sure that this is possible today.
Thank you, Mrs. Tippett. Any other comments or questions? No. Well, okay. So this is a study item, so it will come back to us for a vote. But if there's no other comments or questions, then thank you. Our last section and our only item is adjournment. I will accept a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:10 p.m.
Motion to approve as presented.
Mr. Buster and Mr. King
Second,
seconds. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Not seeing any. The motion carries. Thank you.